Shalom and welcome. I'm your host, Rabbi David Katz, and this is Mazal class. You guys ready to rock and roll it? Stiff neck and all. I've had this stiff neck for weeks. It will not go away. Some kind of a kapara. In the Mazal book we go. There's an actual Mazal book called Oitzer HaMazal. Tanchuma v'chein goyzer al kul korsav ubiyet peirut v'hidgasha shineinu b'midrash Tanchuma. There is a midrash, a sefer of midrash called Midrash Tanchuma. And in it, which goes by the Parshiyos of the Torah, which has in it by perforce Parshas Pekudei, Os Gimel, letter Gimel. What do you guys think we should look it up just to see if it really exists? Let's look at, what do you think? What do you think? You want to do it? I'm game. If you're game, I'm game. I'm game, you're game. You want to do it? Let's see if it really exists or if we're being kishuf to the highest order. Gimel and Pekudei. This is, again, extra credit. I'm just curious. This is not Nogea to this year. I'm literally just a curious chap. Pekudei, Gimel, and we're looking for Eilu Gedolim Sha'isa Baruch Hu. All right, first of all, how long is Gimel before I start looking for the next 5,000 pages? And I may be going through 5,000. That's not too bad. Let's go. Let's see here. Try to skim read. Again, this is extra credit. Because that's what we do. Stiff neck and all. Actually, it's because I'm seeing the computer. That's why my neck is stiff. I should be laying in bed being cared to, but that's not always the case. Again, I am just curious if the Torah is true or not. I think it's true. What do you think? Torah true? I'm a big believer. I think it's got to be true. I don't think this guy made it up, the guy that compiled the Sefer. I don't think he's on that level of wickedness. God help us all if he is. But he's not. And if we don't find it here, there's a reason, which means a different gear set. I think it's here. Don't fret. Do not fret. Even though I'm still not seeing it. Again, what am I looking up? Eilu Gedolis Sha'isa Kodesh Baruch Hu. Eilu Gedolis. Look at those words. Eilu Gedolis. Eilu Gedolis. Eilu Gedolis. Eilu Gedolis. Eilu Gedolis. I'm sorry to put you through this pain, people, but sometimes we have to check. We don't accept kishuf here. And I did not find it. Now, I am skimming very fast, and that is always a bad sign. It's a long simmon. Let's try it again. Simmon Gimel. Parshas Pekudei, right? Parshas Pekudei means Tanchuma. I do know that there are two sets of Tanchuma. I might be in the wrong set. I don't even have the other set. So if it's not here, he'll have to get a pass from me. I've seen it referred to, the two sets. But I think we may have something. Hold on. I think we have something here. Let's see the connected. He's like, "Havo, come on, go to Leil. You see us a vlog. You see us all oil. You see us a vlog. You may all you may. I'm Rabbi Yochanan. I'm Isaac. I say Gedolis. Is that what we said, Jacques? We said Elu Gedolis. Now we're saying Elu Gedolis. Could be different girsa. Be a series of Vlad. It's close. We found it. The Torah is true. The Torah is true. Everyone type 1 because the Torah is true. Simon Gimel. Let's compare the text. You ready, Jacques? Masha Amar. Oh, you say Gedolis odd. Masha Amar. Oh, you say Gedolis odd ain't chayker. We say that God is great to no end. Elu Gedolis Shaysukas Baruch Hu. Be it years of Vlad, God is so great we cannot fathom, so to speak, how he makes a fetus. Now I'm reading an Oyster of Mazal. Vlad. Bishar Shabo Adam Lishamash Imishtoi. Bishar Shabo Adam Lishamash Imishtoi. The time a man mates with his wife. Right is Gosh Baruch Lamalik. God hints to the angel of sustenance on the conception. Oshamai Laila. The name of this angel is the night. Oshamai Laila. I'm just comparing the text. Of course, Baruch Merlo, and he says to him, know that this is the night that man is conceived from the seed, this guy. You see that? The night testifies that this is the night. Like right now. Imagine if time is tangible. Can everybody clap? I'm going to close the Midrash Tanchuma because I am convinced the Torah is true. Are you guys convinced the Torah is true? Can I close Tanchuma? Can I close it? Okay. Either that or I'm a very good magician. Now, let's suppose that the time is tangible. Please type 1, and if you just are willing to hear me out. Ready? All right. Let's take a football game. Type 1. Now, time is tangible. You can grab time. Type 1. The guy that throws the ball, whatever sport you want to put in here, football, baseball, cricket, okay? The athlete needs to realize how to win. Type 1. And poof, he did it. He got it. He got it. He clapped. He got it. Type 1, he got it. Everyone be excited. He got it. What happened? He was able to grab the moment in time. Type 1. And imagine that all moments in time are knowledge. Imagine that it's knowledge. So when you're not grabbing time, time goes through you. You got this? It's kind of a metaphysical shot here. But as long as you grab time, then time yields knowledge to you. Can you understand this metaphoric kind of thing? It's almost like if we're having a conversation, you can choose to ignore me and I go through you. I don't matter. But if I say a nugget, it grabs you and it stuns you and you collect it. Type 1. So the moment that you cop something, you're extracting knowledge from time. How many of you ever heard of water? Anyone hear this thing called water? Anyone? How about clouds? You guys ever hear this thing called a cloud? How about condensation? Anyone? Condensation? Has anyone ever flown in an airplane? Has anyone flown in an airplane? Has anyone ever flown in an airplane that crashed in the air because it ran into a swimming pool of water? just before it rained. Has anyone ever had that happen? Where you're flying and boom, wow, you hit an ocean of water. Man, it's really horrible to be the people below. How come that never happened to you guys? Only me. Because water doesn't exist in the air, does it? It doesn't. It condensates. Is that the word? Condensate, right? And it drops, somehow becomes water by the time it hits your blah, 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 blah. Type 1. In fact, on Facebook, I saw, this is actually the great mushroom right here. Ready? On Facebook, there's an advertisement for inventions going around where you install like a windmill that is planted deep in the ground, and it collects moisture from the air, and it condensates under the ground in a tube, and then you can pump the well and get water extracted from the air. You cop that? Okay, so is there such a thing as moisture in the air? You call that the dew point in weather reports. So let's say that there's something called time. You guys ever hear of time? Time. And imagine there's a dew point in time. Everyone imagine there's a dew point in time. The temperature where moisture condensates in the physical realm. Now imagine that's called knowledge. That time can yield to you knowledge when it has a dew point called God made Jachap, type 1. So when you're knowing your wife, biblical knowing, yes, the birds and bees happen to the best of us. And when that happens, when there's this kind of metaphoric condensation, God calls that droplet from time, that knowledge from time, Guy, as in John Doe. Hey, Guy, hey, you. God calls it, hey, you. Do you follow my line of thinking here? There's a moment of conception in the angel and God where consciousness is sprouted from consciousness. It materializes. And it's called Hey You. Once it's called Hey You, the parents will become prophets to eventually name that child type 1. So, Hey You is now a conception in the womb of a woman. Right? In that moment that the angel said, hey, you, the angel elevates that consciousness before God. And God looks at that water droplet of knowledge extracted from consciousness. And only God knows what it's called and what it looks like. Correct? We don't know. God is the creation of everything. So God analyzes that thing. And he says, Asiti keko asher sivisenu. God looks at it and says, hey, which one are you? Let's give an analogy. Can I give a mashal? Everyone, I hate to bring up a really bad example, but it's all I can draw from my youth. Does everyone remember doing the Easter egg hunt as kids? Unfortunately, growing up in Dayton, Ohio, I experienced it myself. Right? Easter egg hunt, right? We all paint the eggs, and when we hide the eggs, and we go on a scavenger hunt looking for the eggs, correct? So imagine that there's a land filled with eggs with a unique color and a unique design, type 1. Type 1. And only one person was the maker of the design, correct? And each design has implicit meaning, like an artist telling you the meaning of his paintings, type 1. So all the little kids go out and collect the eggs, type 1. And little Johnny, which is like an angel. The kids are angels in this analogy, right? And he says, hey, I found one. And the kid returns the egg to the master, type 1. And he says, master, can you identify the egg? And the master looks and says, ooh, the purple on this egg represents blah, blah, blah. The yellow represents blah, blah, blah. The image, blah, blah, blah. So the drop of conception, only God knows what it is because God made every drop in the world. Can God identify any possible drop? The answer is yes. So it is presented before God, and God is decreeing on the drop what its end will be. Is it a male? Is it a female? Is he weak? Is he strong? Is he poor? Is he rich? Is he short-lived or long-living? Is he ugly? Is he beautiful? Is he thick? Is he thin? Is it this way or that way? And it's decreed on what he'll be called. You know what we call this egg? Pun intended. Does anyone know? Does anyone know what we call this egg? Bob Jones. Everyone give a big round of applause for Bob Jones. Bob's parents went through the birds and the bees, and they conceived, and the angel recognized the moment in time that became consciousness of the future Bob Jones, and God was there looking at it and said, yep, that's a Bob Jones right there. The parents went through 9 months, gave birth, and you know what they called the baby when it came out? Does anyone know? Any takers? Any takers? Well, that's right. Baby was called Bob Jones. Bob Jones came, and everyone said, hey, it's a boy. And the parents said, yeah, God decided this was a boy. What do we call that boy, Bob Jones? Is he going to be rich or is he going to be poor? Well, when Bob Jones grows up, he will answer all those questions, won't he? Guess what your name is, Justin Becker and Jacques and John? You're all Bob Jones, aren't you? We are all Bob Jones. We were all conceived with the birds and the bees. And the angel looked at our consciousness, and the angel presented us before God, and we were decreed on what we would be, and our lives are telling that story. That is called Mazal. If you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. What do you think? What do you think about that? That is one story. But that's how Mazal works. Baruch Hu says Bob Jones is very anti-female. So he's going to marry a woman, bless his heart, but they're going to give birth to 9 sons. Because that's the kind of Mazal DNA Bob Jones has. He was born with a tattoo on his forearm that says, I am destined to have 9 sons. You cop the analogy? Just his energy was not to have daughters, or his energy was not to have dollars, or his energy was not to have jobs, whatever it is. His energy was not to have curved fingers. So Bob Jones, guess what he didn't do, Justin Becker? Bob Jones does not have curved fingers. Guess what he didn't do, Justin Becker? Any takers, what he didn't do? Any takers on what Bob Jones didn't do? Hello, 1 or 2. Hello. Hello, 1 or 2. Hello. He didn't take up the piano. Bob Jones did not have curved fingers. He never once desired to play piano. Did you know that Bob Jones, though, was 6'7" and 300 pounds? Guess what he did do? He was 6'7" and 300 pounds. Guess what he did do? Any takers? He was an offensive lineman for the football team. You understand? Whatever God gives you, that's what you're going to do. And that's what you're going to be called. So Bob Jones was born weighing 14 pounds, 3 ounces. Did you know that? 14 pounds, 3 ounces. So when he was born, his nickname was Moose. Everyone say that. Moose. They said, hey, we heard you gave birth to Bob Jones. Yeah, we gave birth to that Moose. So he grew up being a big guy, nicknamed Moose. Can you understand how Bob Jones is going to have a Mazal? Can you understand that, one or two? Can you understand that, one or two? Right? If Bob Jones was born weighing 3 pounds, 3 ounces, and he had curved fingers, guess what happened to Bob Jones? He was born, they named him Slim, and they bought him a piano for his 3rd birthday, type 1. And they named him Bob Jones. If you look up on Wikipedia, Bob Jones means piano player. I just made that up. It's ridiculous mushel, but you get my point. Al Divrega Moira Elud Sadiva Russia Lo Kalmar does not say whether he was righteous or wicked, because that is in the hands of man. Roab is Zohar. Okay. That's where we're going to end today. And you are in for a doozy from here on out. Like the essence of Mazal. And I mean the essence of Mazal will be told the rest of this chapter. Thank you for listening. Be well.